Detroit Symphony Orchestra and the, what else do we have over here? The Symphony and the Orchestra, the Whitney, the Motown Museum, the Motor City, Contemporary Art Museum. There is so much going on right here, and this is the event of the night right here at the Detroit Artist Market. It is the open show, fine art show, mixed media, and we've selected one very unique artist tonight that we wanted to get a little bit more in depth because something really caught our eye that was unique to this artist, Mr. Bob Lezuch.
Yeah, we were glad to have a chance to see you looking at the painting and curious about your opinions as to why you stopped and paused in the first place. So I felt it was kind of a serendipitous moment, to be able to see you looking at the picture. Because I like doing the digital artwork and try to make my technique adapt a bit more to the canvas as opposed to the original years ago. I want it to look seamless where you don't really notice the difference between one and the other. So I was interested what you thought about the brush strokes and the canvas on the wall there.
Yeah, and it's an interesting dynamic because as a pure artist, with the paint and canvas and brush, usually I have opinions about technology because my preference is to do it by hand, but I saw something really unique in the digital artwork, and I was surprised how vibrant and bold the colors were, and you did such a nice job. It's like, if I could get paint like that, yeah, let's take a closer look.
Give it to you because it doesn't even matter.
It's getting a lot of attention. People are really noticing this paint today.
And you
so what's the title of the meeting?
It's called Post-Discussion. We had a really long discussion at a McDonald's of all places with this guy, and I just found it really inspiring after spending breakfast talking to him. So I decided to go over there and go home, and I just opened up my Mac and started working to sort of, abstract how I felt, the energy of that moment, and do all the brush strokes and the importance of the stylus and tip. And I applied some different techniques, flip-flopping, working in layers and building up the texture. And I hope they look, a bit like the old impressionist painters with the strokes, but yet it's more up-to-date, more colorful, a little bit wider color spectrum. A lot of movement and energy, and I hope to be able to use them for hospital applications for people that are recovering from illness, or even people maybe mourn the death of a loved one, and make the hospital environment a little bit more uplifting or inspirational, like a healing arts thing. So I'm hoping to start integrating that with,
You're talking my language.
She's got something for you.
I have a ton of stuff for
Maybe
you.
that's why we met. Maybe it's not about this, but
Yeah, back to the topic of serendipity earlier. I have a show coming up next month, June, with the Ronald McDonald House, and there's a whole team of artists that are just taking over the Ronald McDonald House next month. And
really?
yeah,
Next month.
next month. Yeah, and I don't know. I'll find out. I'll get you some information. But I'm good friends with the guy, Chizzy, who you'll see on Hot Metro 5. And he put this thing together. You fit in perfectly. The group is fantastic. These artists are basically taking over the Ronald McDonald House, painting murals right on their wall. I have goosebumps when you said that.
He's been thinking about the healing people.
plus you want to be able to do something that's useful too. It's one thing to make beautiful objects, but if they just sit in a musty basement or on somebody's house, or they're limited to how many people can see it. But at least if people are coming through all the time, especially people that are in need of inspiration or healing or trying to resettle maybe a domestic issue.
People are displaced maybe because of traveling to be at the right hospital. So yeah, and your work that you already have could hang on the walls there. So
That'd be great.
I'm scheduled to hang in one of the spaces, but I don't know what the size is. I'll be touring there. I haven't done it yet, so maybe we could go in there together
Cool.
and take a look.
Sarah Bauman, I think, or Sandra Bauman, the Arts and
Sandra.
Spirit Coordinator. I've actually got in touch with her recently. We bumped into each other a couple times, and that's a great program. It's what, 6 hospitals? And there again, you know, your work's being, you know, not only seen in the public, but helped to people that are out there that, you know,
And that's the artwork that I do too. That's part of my drive. Is my images are very motivational. There's an energy to them, and it gives people a feeling, you know. And even if it can just help a person to slow down a little bit because they just it's beautiful. That's it. You know, and putting the setting like that. September and October, I'll be playing with them, and I have contacts. You don't, you know, have their information. I can get you in touch. Also, there's
she was talking about too about the subject matter being something that's not. I mean, I'm pretty political, but she said in this case, when people are trying to heal or recover from an illness, you don't want to have necessarily controversial, dark, or heavy subjects. You want things to be alive, full of energy and light. I called this series the Lazarus sequence, and I was thinking about not so much a death, more of a metaphorical recovery from an illness. They're a bit like a Rorschach's ink blot, where it's open to a viewpoint. It doesn't necessarily, it's not a picture of this or that, it's just sort of a whatever. I think that's when you mentioned about the symmetry of it. Somebody asked me today, what's this? I said, I have no idea. It's the result of a brushstrokes overlapping. That's very good.
But that's a interpretation by each person. You know, maybe it's like a crystal. Or something stuck in the spider web.
Yeah, somebody talked about body parts, like it could be the hip section or the brain, and you know, whatever you, yeah, and you tip it over, it looks totally different. So it's very open, and in that sense, I think it's good for their application of the arts and spirit. I had a strange way that I met her too. We had met a couple different times, and she actually forgot who I was, and she solicited me at the show in Rhinebeck.